Hello, I'm David Bellamy and I'm going to show you a demonstration today using the Daniel Smith Extra Fine watercolours and combined with Saunders Waterford paper. A great combination. They work together really well. And the thing I love about the Daniel Smith colours is the fiery nature you get of some of the colours. They're so vibrant and marvellous to work with. And they produce these amazing granulations, so many of the pigments there. And I really love that. So I'm going to put across those points today in this demonstration. And this is the sort of thing that can go sadly awry sometimes. So I've got my bottle of spray here, just in case it goes a little bit too out of control, as it does sometimes happen with me. So let's get into it. Ignoring all the pencil lines, of course, and then I'm going to apply some Naples yellow. It's a lovely colour. It's a bit opaque, but it's rather good for taking the coldness off the white paper. And then I'm going to use some Aussie red gold. And this is a really vibrant colour. I really love the vibrant colours you get with the Daniel Smith watercolours. So this is just bringing the Aussie red gold down into the wash, allowing it to sort of float down into the Naples yellow. I'll just take up some of this moisture at the bottom here, a bit more in there, and I think we can leave that for the moment. I'm just going to use a mixture of French ultramarine and cadmium red for these distant hills, and creating a slightly ragged edge to it by using the brush on its side like this, and then bringing in some water at the bottom here. It's quite strong for distant hills, but I'm going to be dropping some a glaze across it anyway shortly, so that'll reduce it quite a bit. So there we are. Now the castle, Carreg Cennen Castle, is on a 300-foot limestone crag, so it's in a very prominent and exciting position. And what I'm going to do now is use some masking fluid over the left-hand part of the castle, so that part of the castle, the left-hand side, is caught in light, and the right-hand side of the castle will be dark. And this is a technique I use quite often on a building, especially a large building like this. I'm using Pebeo drawing gum for this. This is really good. It's not too fierce as some of the masking fluids are. They can take off the paper, and of course this Saunders Waterford is so robust. It's quite an amazing strong paper, beautiful to work with, and it works well with these Daniel Smith watercolours. So I'm going to let that dry now, and then I can bring down the sky as I want it to bring this sort of stormy effect over the landscape. I've applied the masking fluid over the left-hand part of the castle and let it dry naturally. Don't use the hairdryer over it, otherwise it's very difficult to get it out. So now I'm going to re-wet the whole thing again with the mop brush. Plenty of water. And we're going to have a bit of a storm coming now, and this is going to be quite an exciting moment. It can go wrong. It can go desperately wrong at this point. So I've got a spray here ready just in case it goes wrong. And actually it'd be rather good if it does go wrong, because I can show you how to get out of it. So what we're going to do now is apply some quinacridone sienna, and that's a really nice sort of vibrant colour, and putting that into over the Aussie red gold. But I still want some of the Aussie red gold to come through in places. Now this is where it gets a little bit dodgy, because I'm going to pour some moon glow over the top, so, and let it come down. Just make sure it's nice and wet everywhere so that it flows well. And I've got a mixture of just moon glow in here at the moment, so I'm just going to let this flow down. Wow. And of course there's just a little bit too much coming down at the moment. Wow. And if there is too much actually roaring down, then we can use the spray to weaken it a little bit and take out some of the colour in places, especially over the dark side of the castle, and over here. And it gives that exciting sort of effect over this glaze coming down over the distant mountains. I'm just getting a little bit swamped here at the moment. And just take that away. I want to lower it down a little bit more. It's coming down a bit too fast at the moment. And the limestone crag stands out quite light in places. So I'm just losing some of the excuse me. I'm just losing some of the colour down there and getting rid of all this mess at the bottom. But it's just so exciting to have this mess happening. And I've got a bit of a mess over here as well, which I want to get rid of quite quickly. And we'll have to leave that for a moment to dry. Right, I'm going to work on this ridge over here now. I brought it down a little bit more than I intended, so that more of this lovely granulation effect will show. So here goes. This is some sodalite genuine with yellow ochre in it. And I just want to lose it down here into the atmosphere. And then into the castle at that point. I'm just bringing in some more yellow ochre at this point. where it's more vegetation than rock. And it's all, some of it is hard crag and some of it's vegetation, grasses. There's a whole mixture of terrain out there, which is really exciting. Right. So for this I'm using a mixture of French ultramarine and yellow ochre, and I'm working the brush in this way across the rough paper because I want to suggest the roughness of the castle walls, but I don't want to make it too dark. And then as we get over here, the shadow is going to make it much darker, so I'm bringing in some Sodalite Genuine and yellow ochre. So at this point it gets darker. And now I'm just bringing in some yellow ochre, dropping it in. It's a favorite technique of mine, dropping in a color into a wet wash. And then with just a damp brush, losing some of the edges, softening them off in that way. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of detail on the castle. This is Sodalite Genuine I'm using, and it's a number 6 sable with a very fine point. And just making it look castle-y. And some more of the Sodalite Genuine. It's an interesting colour, very dark and dire, but it granulates very strongly. And I'm just working on this crag, suggesting some of the detail in the crag. I don't want too much going on. Darken this just a hint. Places, and then blend it down into the ground. And just a little bit more over here. So a bit more sort of like genuine, and okay, I'm doing the limestone crags now, and I'm using Lunar Blue for this in the main, but I'll be adding other colours as I've been doing. And I'm putting it on pretty strongly at the moment. And then adding in some yellow ochre. Bringing down the wash. Right. And then some more yellow ochre. And one or two touches of sort of like genuine. So this is the limestone crag that the castle is perched on. And so what I'm going to do now is create some granulations using the granulation medium and dropping it into this area here, and then adding in some more colour lower down. And this is where it gets so exciting, because watching paint dry has been a completely new revelation for me since using these Daniel Smith watercolours. They are just incredible when you bring in the granulation medium and add some more yellow ochre. And again, I'm just going to drop in some more of the granulation medium, letting it flow down. So as you can see, we're getting some lovely effects there. And picking up some of the sort of like genuine with a piece of card. And this a little bit more of the sunlight genuine, and I will have to put a little bit of detail on this afterwards. And some more yellow ochre. And for good measure, some quinacridone sienna. It's not actually there, but it really makes the painting come to life. Just softening that off a bit. I'm just going to take out a little bit of colour here with another eradicator brush. Soften the edges a bit, make it look a bit more natural. And down here. Right. I'm going to use a number 1 rigger now with some Sodalite Genuine on it, and I'm just putting in some of the detail in the crags. I like to use the brush on its side a lot to create a bit of texture. That can work quite well. And then I use a larger brush with some more Sodalite Genuine on it. On there. So we're almost complete now. It's got a few more things to do. A lot more water down here. Let it flow away. And some yellow ochre. And again, I'll put some granulation medium in here. Let it flow down. And using the really strong granulating colours with the granulating medium is very exciting. Creates some lovely effects sometimes. Okay, I think that's it.